I say if you have nothing to hide, I'm gonna keep looking until I find something and make it a storyline for next season. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review episode 2 of the real hypocritical Housewives of New Jersey. So we start the episode off right where we left off between Marge and Jennifer. Marge had just finished telling Jennifer, you don't keep it as honest as you say you do, because if you did, we will all know about the affair that your husband had with his previous manager at his last job, resulting to him leaving that job. But Jennifer, she got right ahead of it and she was like, no, what are you talking about? That wasn't even the manager that he was having an affair with. That was his secretary. No. It was the janitor that he was having an affair with. No. It was the lady who wipes the windows. No. It was the intern. No. The lady at the pharmacy. Yeah, it's the lady at the pharmacy that he had the affair with, you idiot. So Jennifer, again, she jumped 10 steps ahead of Marge because Marge probably thought, I'm going to blindside her and make her feel stupid in front of everybody and in front of the cameras and expose her for this affair. But Jennifer, she actually, took it in stride and she was like, no, I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to tell my truth before Marge tries to embarrass me. But you could tell that Jennifer, because we're so used to seeing Jen put together and seeing her kind of take everybody on so calmly and peacefully. But here, you could tell that she was kind of cracking and she was kind of blindsided with Marge's comment. And she probably felt like, I have no choice, but I have to tell the truth. So I might as well just put it out there, even though she probably didn't want this door to be open. So Marge, she walked away because she's like, oh, well, touche, I got you. But, I know that people are feeling sorry for Jennifer, like, woe is me. But is it bad that I kind of just don't feel bad for Jennifer? I don't feel bad for Marge either because both of them are cutthroat and both of them have said some really, really foul things to each other. Honestly, it would have been a done deal and there would be no friendship the minute that Jennifer previously threw Marge's comment about her mom saying, oh, your mom has been fucking somebody for 15 years or whatever her comment said. They played it in the flashback. After that moment right there will be no friendship in the future. You said something about my own mother. So, I mean, there's no rules in this argument. So Marge, yes, she threw a blow at Jennifer, but Jennifer has also said some foul things. Both of them have always gone tit for tat for each other. So I'm not sure why this whole entire episode was, oh, woe is me, Jennifer, woe is me. I don't know. Is it just me? What do y'all think about this situation? Was Marge wrong for stepping her boundaries a little bit here? And obviously we all knew that Marge was keeping this inside because she knew, as she went over to Jackie and Melissa, and Jackie's over there, she's drinking a pineapple juice. And she's like, oh, well, Jennifer, she just admitted to the affair. And Jackie, she lets us know that she been knew about this affair because Marge had told her. And that's what Jackie was alluding to at the reunion last season when she was just like, if I was you, I'll be quiet about this, when she was talking to Jennifer, because karma is a bitch and you wouldn't want certain skeletons to come out. And Jackie also lets us know that she knew about the affair because Marge had told her. And I'm like, damn, Marge, so you just run your mouth a lot. I mean, this entire episode, she exposed herself, how she does all this researching. I'm like, don't you have a hobby? Like, go knit some sweaters. Go make some hot chocolate. Why are you digging up dirt on your cast members? But then again, I guess that's what we have to do on the show to keep a storyline. But so Jackie, she knew about it. And, kudos to Jackie for not, exposing Jennifer or throwing that out there or alluding to it or anything. Because she's like, well, I know what it feels like to have these cheating rumors. I'm sorry, I'm a little sleepy. I know what it feels like to have these cheating rumors about me out there, so I wouldn't say anything about Jennifer at all. And then Teresa, she goes over to Jennifer and she's like, what's wrong? Jennifer, what's the problem? Do you want a sandwich? Do you want me to bring you some water? Louie, come over here. I know you're taking a selfie right now with Joe, but can you come over here really quickly? Yeah, do you want a sandwich? You want a sandwich with bacon? What's the problem? And Jennifer, again, you could tell that she's just a little uneasy. She really wanted those cameras out of her face because, again, she probably felt exposed. Meanwhile, we see Joe over there with Larry the Lobster, Louie, and Bill, which is Jennifer's husband. Bill eventually goes over to Jennifer and he's like, Jennifer, what's wrong? What's the problem? Why are you crying? What's going on? And Jennifer is just like, well, you know what, Bill? I'm just not really happy with my nose job. I just don't like it. I just feel like my nose looks like a... Oh, wait, you're talking about what Marge said? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about something else. Okay, well, Marge, she just brought up the whole affair that you had against me 10 years ago. Remember when you cheated on me? Yeah, she just brought that up and I just think it was too much of a low blow for me. And Bill, you could tell that Bill was probably like, God damn it, like, I'm not gonna get any sleep tonight because of this shit. But in this moment, I did feel for Jennifer. I feel for anybody who gets cheated on because I don't know how Jennifer, I mean, we'll get to it, but I just don't know how Jennifer could look past it. And this right here, this whole scene of her crying and breaking down and slowly, kind of seeing another vulnerable side to Jennifer, this right here lets me know that she didn't deal with that affair properly the way she should have. Because from what we learned later on in the episode, she just says that, oh yeah, me and Bill, we kind of talked about this affair one time the day after it happened, the day she found out, and they never talked about it again. They never got any type of counseling, I'm assuming, allegedly, because she never brought it up. And they never discussed it. They never really bury the hatchet technically. I mean, they did, but not really emotionally, I feel like, because look, Jennifer, this has been like what, 10, 15 years later, and look how easily she was cracking because of it. If you was really over that and you was truly happy with Bill, maybe it wouldn't get to you. But then again, I don't know. I'm not sure. Everybody deals with cheating differently, but I just feel like the way she handled cheating, the whole cheating affair with Bill, wasn't a healthy way of doing it. Like, just talk about it once and never talking about it again for the rest of your lives, like with this man. Like, no, I'm pretty sure Jennifer, deep down inside, she's probably like a bit insecure throughout this entire marriage. But then again, that's just my assumption. She probably isn't insecure, but this is just the way I see it. Sometimes I'm like, she's probably like, is he really happy with me? Is he with somebody else? I know that probably it has to make some people insecure. Not even insecure, but kind of like paranoid. I know that it will make me paranoid if I was in her shoes. I would look at Bill like every single time like, wait, is he happy with me? Is he gonna stay with me forever? Especially underneath the conditions that he cheated on her with, like when she was pregnant with his child. Like, absolutely not. But Jennifer, she's just like, I kind of want to go. I'm over this whole situation. So, she takes her new chin and her nose and she gets in the passenger seat with Bill and they kind of drive off. And I don't blame her. Again, she has to deal with this on her own with Bill. I feel like she should have an open conversation with him outside of the show and probably get some help for it. Because, I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that she probably handled the whole cheating scandal like the best way? Or do you think that there's a different way? Or maybe the way that she did do it, maybe that is a healthy way. You kind of just have to talk about it once and never talk about it again. I'm not saying that, if you get into an argument with him, like just throw that in his face, like, oh, you cheating bastard, blah, 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 and throw that in his face. I'm not saying that, but, I just don't know. I just don't feel like you should have like a 20-second conversation about something that impacted you so emotionally, especially when you were pregnant, and just never talk about it again. But meanwhile, we see Joe, he's over there, and then Gia, Teresa's daughter, and Teresa, they head over there next to Louie. They're sitting down, and then Joe is just like, I don't know why Jennifer is talking so much shit online about me and my wife Melissa and calling us crooks. We are not crooks. Yes, we fake storylines season after season after season, but we're not crooks. I mean, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why she's talking shit about me and my wife online. Louie, you wouldn't like that, right? If people were talking shit about you online? Agree with me or else I'm flipping this table and putting you in a headlock. Okay, yeah. See, my boy Louis, he agreed with it too. I don't get it. I mean, all my wife does is try to promote her sorry-ass line, envy, and her jeans, and I don't understand why Jennifer is coming at us. I mean, I'm all about loyalty and family anyway. Gia is sitting right across the table from Joe, and she's just listening to him go on and on and on about how he doesn't like people talking shit about him online. So Gia, she throws that out there, trying to bait him into the conversation, and she's like, it's so funny how certain people don't like people talking shit about them, but yet they continue doing it about other people. Maybe we should all learn how to keep our mouths closed. Then Joe, that triggers him, and he's just like, what, Gia? What's going on? If you have to say something, speak up. And I didn't appreciate Joe's tone, the way he was coming at Gia. I mean, she's 20 years old, at least when they were filming this. She's 21 now, but still, she's a woman, and you're talking to her like that. That's one thing I never respected nor liked about Joe. Because I just feel like he down talks women, and he feels like he's superior to every woman around him, especially Melissa. The way he talks to her and the way he just treats her nonstop, like, oh, it's more like, oh, she's his maid. And he's just like, oh, yeah, no, you have to do everything I say, and you have to speak the way I want you to speak, and you have to have respect for me no matter what, because I'm alpha male. I feel like that's how Joe is, and this is his own niece, and he was talking down to her, and she's just like, first of all, please don't talk to me like that, Uncle Joe. Don't get disrespectful. I'm a grown woman. Please talk to me like an adult, because I am an adult now, and I want to get on the future seasons of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm coming for Teresa's spot. So please talk to me with respect, because I will flip this table as well, just like my mother did season 1. So please don't try me like that. Joe and his fragile male ego can't take that Gia, a woman, is going back and forth with him and actually making points and backing him into a wall. So what does he do next? He starts criticizing her character, and he's just like, I can't believe you, Gia. You're my niece, and I'm your uncle, and I'm your elder, and you're talking to me like this? This is way out of line. Like, you're way too disrespectful. I have been there for you ever since you were born. I can't believe you're talking to me like this. And honestly, that whole old school way of thinking of, oh, you have to respect the elders, you have to respect your elders, you can't say this, that, or the third to your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, all of that, with me personally, it's flying right out of the window because I don't believe in that, and I stopped believing in that a long time ago because I feel like older people and people, not necessarily in your family, older people in general, they always think that they have some type of power over the younger crowd or younger people just because they're older, or they think that they have more knowledge, or they're wiser or whatever. And yes, it may be true to a certain extent, but that doesn't mean I have to bow down to you and I have to respect everything you're saying, because then it goes into the point where you're not validating my feelings and I have to validate your feelings. Why? Because you're older than me just because of a number? No. If you could get called a bitch, so can your grandmother. But I'm not promoting that you go, tomorrow to your grandmother's house and call her a bitch because of something she did to you last weekend. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, all of that whole way of thinking, I can't go back and forth and I have to respect my elders or blah, blah, blah. All of that with me? No, absolutely not. And Gia, again, she wasn't wrong with that because she was just like, you know what? You're being way too disrespectful, because Joe, he kind of hit her with a low blow, and he's just like, where were you born? Where were you raised at? Obviously, he was kind of taking a shot at Teresa and Joe Giudice, because obviously she was raised in their family, in their house, so where else was she raised? So Gia's just like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this anymore, because look, you're coming at me disrespectful. No, I'm not doing this. I'm disengaging like Meredith from Salt Lake City. So Joe, he can't take them. He gets up and he gets close to her, and honestly, I feel like if Gia wasn't a woman, he probably would have put hands on Gia. Like, if he, instead of his niece and he was like his nephew or something, I'm pretty sure that Gia probably be body slammed into the water by Joe, because Joe seemed that aggressive with Gia. Like, he's all in her face and stuff. Like, I know he's like 5'2", but he's still all in her face, and he's just like, I can't believe you. You're so disrespectful. Like, I can't believe your mouth. So he walks away, and he's just like, Melissa, I'm walking away. Meanwhile, Melissa's over there next to Jackie, and she's trying to sell her some pants from Envy and trying to give her a 2-for-1 special. And Melissa's just like, wait, what? Does somebody want a coupon from Envy? What? And then Melissa, she goes running over to Gia. Joe, he's making his exit, and Gia, she called it out perfectly. She's like, Uncle Joe, he always has to make a scene. And honestly, yeah, he always needs to make a scene. He gets more camera time than Melissa. Like, that's how sad it is. So Melissa, she goes over there to Gia, and she's like, Gia, what's going on? What's the problem? Do you want a 50% discount or something at my store Envy? What's the problem? What's going on? Okay, 75%. How about 75? Okay, you get if you buy 2 jeans, you get another one for free. How about that? What's going on? What's the problem? And Gia's just like, no, I really don't like how Uncle Joe was talking to me. I was just telling him, if you're so offended by Jennifer's comment that she made about you and Uncle Joe, I don't get why he continues talking about my family, specifically my father. So Melissa, she also has this problem with Joe where she likes to get in people's face and she starts clapping and shit. I'm like, you see, Gia is a woman. She could take you on. So Melissa, if I was you, I would just back up, because, Gia, you could tell she was getting a little agitated. And I just feel like Gia doesn't like Melissa at all. I mean, she'll only put up with her only because she probably wants to be cool with her mom. And she's like, my mom, Teresa, she has to be friends with her, so I'll just be friends with her too. But between Dolores and Gia, who do y'all think hates Melissa the most? Because Gia is just looking at her like this. Don't get me aggravated right now. Don't get me aggravated, because she starts laughing and Melissa's just like, what is going on? Why are you laughing? This is not funny. I can't believe you're laughing at Uncle Joe. And now Gia, if she would have pushed you into the pool, Melissa, she would not have been wrong. Meanwhile, Joe, he's outside. Larry the Lobster, he follows right behind him. And I'm like, what are you, Larry? Like the new friend of the show or something? Like, he's just running around Joe. And the more he keeps walking around, the more red he gets in the face. I'm like, somebody get this man some suntan lotion. And it's nighttime and he's like burning up in the face. But Joe, he's outside throwing a temper tantrum. That just goes to show how fragile his ego is. Like, you see, he couldn't take what Gia was saying to him. And honestly, the whole situation is sticky itself, because yes, even though Joe is acting like a baby, he does have a right to feel the way he does. I mean, I guess he shouldn't be talking shit about Gia's dad, but at the same time, that man caused harm and probably some type of trauma inside Joe's life that he's not dealing with correctly. So I don't know. It's just like, I want him to feel validated, but at the same time, Gia should feel validated. But it's just like, There in the middle is a shitty man, which is Joe Giudice. So it's just like, who's right in this situation? What do y'all think? Joe is blowing off some steam outside, and Gia's just finished talking to Melissa, and she's telling her, you know what? I'm gonna go check on Uncle Joe outside. I wanna see what he has to say. I'm gonna go talk to him one-on-one. So Gia, she proceeds to go outside, and as she's getting closer to Joe, she's like, I'm here to have a one-on-one conversation with you. But then she turns around, she sees Teresa, Melissa, Jackie, Dolores, the cameraman, 20 bodyguards, Andy Cohen, and like 2 extra producers in the back. She's like, no, I don't need an entourage. Only a camera crew. Okay, cameraman, over here. Make sure that you're getting my good side. Okay, over here. Make sure the lighting is in my eyes so my eyes could be really sparkly, because I have really, really bright, beautiful green, blue eyes. Okay, are you making sure? Okay. So Joe, Uncle Joe, okay, you got the camera on me? Okay, over here. Uncle Joe, yeah, I just want to know what your perspective is on this. I don't get why you're so upset. You're not even listening to me. I'm a grown woman. You need to listen to what I have to say. I just can't be quiet to you. And then Joe, he continues with his soapbox.
Listen, Gia, I mean no disrespect when I'm talking about your father, Joe Giudice, but if I don't mention him, me and Melissa are not going to have a storyline season after season after season. Your father was our only storyline. So if we don't talk about him, I'm not really sure what am I going to talk about or Melissa's going to talk about. So it's just like, I'm sorry, but I have to keep bringing him up or else I won't get any type of camera time. And I'm trying to get my own spinoff, the Real House Husbands of New Jersey. So I'm sorry, I just have to defend my sister and my parents in their honor because everything I'm saying is the truth.
And I get it, and I understand where Joe is coming from because his feelings are valid, and Joe Giudice has caused that much emotional damage to him deep down inside. Then I understand, but at the same time, Joe, when is enough enough? Because you're going to continue dragging on about Joe Giudice season after season after season after season, and you're never going to fully cope with it that way. You're never going to fully let it go. I'm not saying to forgive him completely, but at the same time, what satisfaction are you getting by constantly bringing him up or constantly being upset and lashing out every single time he's even mentioned in the conversation for a brief second? I just don't feel like that's the best way to cope with it, being angry all the time. Again, I'm not saying to forgive him completely, or I'm not saying that he's like a complete angel, but what else do you want from him? He's not even on the show to defend himself or to apologize to you face to face. He's already been deported to Italy. So again, what else do you want out of this? What else, do you want from him? Because at this point, it's starting to look like you're just using this for a storyline, unfortunately. Because if you're going to continue dragging on for season after season after season, for what reason? Again, it's just going to look like you're looking for a storyline instead of properly coping with it the proper way. I feel like maybe there could be a different way because you're getting angry all the time. We get it that you have a hot temper, but that's no excuse for you to lash out on everybody just because you're angry at him, So Gia, she gets upset with him and she's just in disbelief because he had just brought up her grandparents and she's like, wait, I can't believe that you said that to me. And then she just goes off.
You know what? I can't believe that you're talking about my nana and my nono and my nini leaks. I can't believe you. You know what? This is when I walk away. Wait, I need camera time. I can't walk away. Hold on, I need to go back. Okay, hi Uncle Joe, I'm back. Okay, so I need camera time, so just give me 1 second. Let me come up with an idea. Melissa, you're gonna meet me upstairs by the pool, and I'm gonna go off again. We're gonna try again, and you're gonna meet me up there so we can talk. Okay, let's try it again. Are we ready? Andy, are we ready? Okay, roll back. This is where I walk away. Melissa, hurry up.
Gia goes back into the party and Melissa and Teresa follow her and they have a conversation with her and Gia's just like, I really don't want Uncle Joe to be so upset. I don't understand that. I mean, I want him to be okay. I don't want us to have an issue. So I'm going to try to go back outside and continue to try to be a housewife. I mean, try to have a relationship with Uncle Joe. So I'm going to go outside. Do you think that he'll kind of like be able to talk to me? And Melissa's just like, of course he will. We need a storyline, Gia. And if this means like, we have to go up against our niece, then of course we have to do this. So yes, go outside with him. And I'm going to follow right behind you because I want camera time too. So Gia, she goes outside and they finally have a conversation, a civilized conversation. And Joe, he's back to being level-headed. And they kind of just joke about it like, okay, fine. We could agree to disagree. It's just like, don't bring up my parents, don't bring up my dad anymore. Maybe. And then we'll be fine. But Joe in his head, he's just like, she could think that I'm not going to talk about him, but we will talk about him again because he is my storyline. So again, I guess for now, Joe, he's decided, okay, I'm not going to talk about him. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be cordial, but we'll see because with Joe, I don't believe it. I feel like he'll be back to talking about Joe Giudice by next week's episode. So we head over to Jennifer's house and she's having a pool party for her daughter Olivia's birthday and the whole backyard looked nice. I love the pool. I love the slide. Everything about it looked cute. I mean, the backyard did look a little empty, like Phaedra said. All I saw was, dirt and grass. Like, I'm like, where's the tables? Where's the umbrellas? Where's the chairs? All I saw is a big ass pool with a big ass slide and some rocks. That's all I saw. I'm like, Jennifer, we need a couple more decorations back here. But regardless, she invited Teresa and Dolores over. They're all going to talk about what was said at Teresa's party last week. So they get there and they're in the kitchen, and Teresa, she's like, well, I'm so confused at why, Marge made a big deal about me bringing up this rumor about Jackie and Evan last season, and now she did the same thing at my party. I don't get what the problem is. And then in the confessional, the producer's just like, well, Teresa, I mean, now you can see what was wrong with what you did last year, right? With the whole situation with Evan and Jackie, you can see what happened with that, right? And Teresa, she refuses to understand it. Now I'm starting to believe, what did Ramona say on the Ultimate Girls Trip? That she's a scarecrow? Because it's just like, what's not clicking up there? Because Teresa, she's like, well, no. When I said with Jackie and Evan, that was just a rumor. This is facts. I'm like, Teresa, no. It's the same shit. No matter how many times you want to paint it a different way, it's the same thing, whether it's factual or not. You did the same thing, so she just never wants to take ownership of anything that she's done. Jennifer goes more into detail about Bill's affair that he had behind her back, and this is something I had mentioned in my previous review, how I appreciate Jennifer's honesty when it comes to her marriage or her family, because even though she wasn't the one to put it out there that he had this huge affair on her 10 years ago, she still jumped ahead of the story, and she explained everything in detail out of her mouth first before anybody on the cast or anybody off the show could have a chance to do so and try to dig up some dirt from the past and throw it in her face now to try to ruin her marriage. But she goes on to explain that she was 9 months pregnant and she was going through a bunch of credit card receipts, and she saw that there was Hennessy bottles, champagne bottles, strip club chicken wings receipts, and she was like, wait, what's going on? Where's all of this going from? Like, what's happening? So she went up to Bill and she's like, Bill, what's going on here? What's going on? Like, what is this? Why are all these receipts? Where are you going? And he admitted that he had an affair with this other woman. They would go to the nightclub, they would go to the strip club, they would go to Vegas, they would go everywhere, and behind her back as she was pregnant. And this was all done behind her back. So she tells Bill, do you love her? Do you want a divorce? What's going on here? And Bill's just like, no, I don't love her, and no, I don't want a divorce. I still want to stick by you. I still want to be married to you. And the worst part out of this whole situation is that she gave birth to their child the next day after she confronted him about this. Like, can you imagine? No wonder he didn't show his face the entire episode, because I will be ashamed. Yes, even though it was 10 years ago, you are a trash ass husband for doing that. Like, that is so disrespectful. That is terrible. I mean, your wife, she is 9 months pregnant. She's about to, give birth to your child, and you're over here having an affair. I mean, I know, everybody has their flaws and everybody, is not perfect and stuff, but damn, like, at least have some type of decency. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't imagine being in Jennifer's shoes. I mean, it all goes back to like what Marge said, like, oh yeah, your husband is your meal ticket. You would think that I wonder if she had money at the time, would she have left him? Because I feel like, and this is just my opinion, I feel like she stayed with him because of the money situation. Because if she was to divorce him or he was to leave her, where is she gonna go? Like, she has no money, like she says, so like she's gonna be where? And it's just unfortunate. This is why everybody, if you're ever in a relationship or you're ever married to somebody, you have to have your own money aside. You have to have your own, thing going on. And you can't depend on your significant other, because look, then if they cheat on you or they do something behind your back or they do something that you can't forgive, you feel like obligated, like, okay, I need to stay with them because where am I going to go? I have no money. So I just have to stay miserable to this person forever, because if I leave them, then I'm going to be living somewhere on the streets. And that's just unfortunate. I don't know. I will hope that wasn't her situation, but I don't know, it feels like it, because she said that once they talked about that, once they mentioned that, they never mentioned it again after 10 years. Like, they never brought it up. I think this was the first time they actually talked about it since the situation happened. And that's just, again, just like I was telling y'all about Joe, how he needs to cope with that situation with Joe Judas a little bit better. I feel like Jennifer, I don't think that she really coped with her situation and, trying to not necessarily forgive her husband for cheating, but really like all the emotions that comes with cheating while you're pregnant. Like, all of that must be a lie. And I'm pretty sure she didn't, cope with it the right way or completely. And maybe that's why now it all makes sense why she comes at Marge so harshly, because Marge had an affair on her husband. So now I can see why she kind of hates Marge, because she's probably looking at her like, wow, my husband technically was like with somebody who was like you and was having an affair with somebody who's like you. So now I'm projecting my hate to Marge. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that Jennifer is truly happy in her marriage, or is she just compensated with all this, oh, Chanel this, Chanel that, and jewelry this and jewelry that, and she's not really happy deep down inside? On her Instagram, she posted a family picture, and she was just like, on the caption, she was just like, oh, I forgave, and it was worth it. And I'm just like, was it worth it though? I don't know. Again, and this is just speaking from my perspective. I don't think I could forgive somebody for cheating on me. I think that even if we go to counseling and therapy and all of that, and marriage counseling and all of that, I just feel like deep down inside, and this is just me, I would be laying in bed with the person next to me like, they still cheated on me no matter how much time has gone by. I don't care if it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I just feel like I personally could not let that go. I would have to remove you from my life in order to have some type of peace in mind for me. So what you need to do, Jennifer, for next season is drop a Lemonade-inspired album, just like Beyonce did, talking about Jay-Z's affair that he had behind her back, allegedly. You could do the same thing, and we all know that the Housewives love putting out music and love singing and love performing, so you could do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be a full-on 10-track album. Maybe it could be like an EP or something with 5 songs, and you could talk about how you felt 10 years ago when this whole affair situation happened. But the whole situation itself is pretty unfortunate, and I do feel for Jennifer in this moment, and I also do feel for her daughter Olivia, because I found out through reading online that Olivia actually found out about her dad Bill cheating on her mom Jennifer through TikTok. She was just scrolling on the app allegedly, and then she came across a video that was explaining the whole affair between Jennifer and Bill. So that must be devastating for her too. I can only imagine how they both had to explain to her like, okay, yes, this is true, and daddy did this and daddy did that, and mommy forgave him, this, that, and the third. That could also be scarring for her, especially at that age. So then we head over to Jackie's house. So then we get Margaret, and she's inside the store, and she's shopping around for carpet. She's shopping around for in-home stuff for Dolores' new place. And Dolores, she goes over there to meet up with her as well. Meanwhile, Jackie's having a one-on-one conversation over at Jennifer's house. So both scenes are happening at the same time. And Dolores, she sits down with Margaret, and she's like, I haven't seen you since the whole Teresa party. What you said about Jennifer and the whole affair thing, I thought it was a bit too much, only because Bill had to be dragged through the mud. So I don't agree with that, Margaret. I think it's kind of fucked up. I think it's kind of rude and mean for you to say that. That's what she said at first. Meanwhile, Jackie's confessing to Jennifer, and she's telling her that she knew about Bill's affair prior to everything coming out at Teresa's party, because Margaret, her friend, had told her privately, but she vowed to never tell Jennifer that to her face one-on-one, or never to throw it out there, or never to put it out there in the media, because she knows that it could be devastating, and she knows what it feels like to have like those type of rumors or speculations be out there, because Teresa did the same thing to her. So Jennifer is just like, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I know that a lot of women could relate to this, and I know that you could relate to this too. And then Jackie, did y'all notice how quick she stopped Jennifer right then and there? She was just like, I can definitely relate to you, Jennifer. Actually, no, I can't relate because my husband never cheated. She made sure to put it out there like, no. Evan is a good husband. He did not cheat on me. Your husband cheated on you, so we can't relate. Back over with Dolores and Margaret. Margaret's confessing to Dolores that she actually found out that Jennifer was snooping around through their mutual friends to find out any type of dirt on Evan, Jackie's husband, to see if any of these cheating rumors that Teresa was throwing out last year were true. So I'm looking at Jennifer like, Jennifer, you want everybody to feel sorry for you, but is this true? Because if it is true, that's pretty fucked up. Even though you and Jackie are okay now, you're just okay with her now because of the pool party. Other than that, what were you doing before that? Were you truly trying to dig up all this type of dirt on Jackie? I mean, I don't know. Is it believable? Do y'all believe that? But Margaret, that's what she's putting out there. She's like, well, that's what she's saying. And Dolores, she can't believe that. Dolores is like, what? Wait, what are you talking about? And then Margaret also lets us know that Jennifer had a phone conversation with Frank, Dolores' ex, to try to shake him up and shake him down to try to get some information to see if the rumors of Evan cheating on Jackie were true. But according to Frank and his Instagram story, he says that he has no idea what they're talking about. He's never had a phone conversation with Jennifer. He's never said anything about Evan, and he doesn't believe the rumors. But according to Jennifer's Instagram story, I feel like a damn reporter with so much posting. But Jennifer, she reposted what Frank put on his story, and she put it on her story. so many damn stories. And she put, no, what do you mean you don't know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about because we were on the phone and we talked about it. So where do you think that I would just make up this rumor of me calling Frank and trying to get some dirt out on Jackie? And she also said that she will be vindicated and the truth will come out. So I don't know, Frank, you're seeming like a liar here, but we don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all believe that Jennifer called Frank to try to get some dirt on Evan? I mean, I could maybe believe it, but would she really go through that length? And would she really try to get herself caught up in that type of mess to just try to get some dirt on Jackie? Like, do you really hate her that much? I don't know. But let's not forget here that Margaret, your husband, he has some type of knowledge about supposedly what Evan was doing at the gym, and he was supposedly cheating on Jackie, allegedly, right? I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure, Margaret, your husband said something that alluded to Evan cheating. So your husband is also as guilty, to trying to hurt your friend as well, even though both of you claim that you're best friends. But she was also telling Dolores, she's pretty fucked up, Jennifer. She's pretty fucked up for everything that she said about me and my mother, and, just trying to crucify me for cheating on my own husband and blah, blah, blah. And just like I said earlier, I feel like Jennifer hates Margaret because she probably sees her as like, another woman who's cheating, just like my husband. So she's projecting her issues with her. But again, Margaret, you or Jennifer are not victims. And I wish that Jennifer would stop with this whole puppy talk. Like, I can't believe I can't believe Margaret said this about me. I mean, Teresa and Dolores said it was pretty fucked up. And I think it's pretty mean. I wish that Jennifer would stop because both of you have gone to low blows with each other just as much. So neither one of you are the victim. Both of you go tit for tat. Like both of you continue saying to each other's faces. So Dolores is throwing a mini housewarming party for her new townhouse that she finally got Frank to finish up for her. And everybody's invited. Teresa and Jennifer are the last two to finally show up. But before that, everybody else shows up, including the new friend of the show, Tracy, and this other friend. I'm not really sure if she's also the new friend of the show, but her name is Caroline. And I kind of wish that they added her as an extra housewife. I would like to see what her backstory is because she seems interesting. But they're all there. Dolores, she's showing everybody around the house, and the house looks beautiful. Honestly, I would prefer a townhouse over a regular house because I actually like the layout. I love how tall it is, and I love how like big and small it kind of is all in one. And I love how Dolores decorated everything. It just looks so spacious. But everybody, is for the most part, they're all having a good time. They're all eating, they're drinking. And then we see Jennifer. Jennifer, she finally shows up. She's kind of shook a little bit because she doesn't want to confront Marge yet because she's still going through everything emotionally. And I just feel like Jennifer hasn't dealt with the emotions that she truly feels for Bill, for him cheating on her 10 years ago. I feel like she kind of just put those emotions and those thoughts in the back of her head. And she was just like, okay, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to feel that pain. I don't want to feel that hurt. Let me just continue lying to myself and say I'm happy. And look, this is the outcome of it. She's just kind of like falling apart every single second. And rightfully so. I understand what she's going through. And so she's getting there. She's like, I don't really want to talk to Marge. I'm just going to be over here. So Jackie, she sees her and she's like, okay, let's go talk in the living room. So they're talking, Jennifer, she's just like, I feel overwhelmed. I just feel like a lot of emotions. And again, rightfully so. And then Dolores and Marge, they come over, and Dolores, I don't know what's wrong with her. Maybe Dolores is pissed that Jennifer was talking to Frank on the phone for like 5 seconds or something because Dolores is coming over and she's like, what are you crying for? What are you crying for? What are you crying for? No, what are you crying? There's nothing to cry about. If I was Jennifer, I would have grabbed my new nose and my new chin and would have slapped her with it. I'm like, wait, Dolores, I know this is your townhouse and I know Frank built this for you, but you need to relax. Like, don't come at me like this. You see that I'm kind of vulnerable right now and I'm falling apart and you're coming at me like that. Like, why am I not allowed to feel the way I feel? Even though everybody can have their opinions on Jennifer, she's allowed to feel the way she feels and her emotions are valid. And then Margaret comes over to add more injury to the wound, and she's like, what are you crying about? What are you crying about? I'm like, damn, so nobody's allowed to cry on this show. Like, they're all coming at her for crying. And I get what Dolores was saying. Like, she shouldn't be crying. Like, what is she crying about? Because she portrays her life to be like this huge Barbie land. Like, oh, everything's perfect. I live this lavish lifestyle. And to a certain degree, I actually agree with Dolores because Jennifer does portray herself to be like Miss Perfect on this show. Even though she allows us to see her vulnerable side, to see her family side, I still feel like Jennifer does portray that she's perfect and she's this, that, and the third. And then look, when somebody low blows her or throws something at her, she can't take it. And she's like, oh no, I'm a weak little puppy. What happened? I thought you had this beautiful lifestyle. And now that your skeletons are coming out, all of a sudden everybody has to feel sympathy for you. So I do understand to a certain degree what Dolores was saying about her. But for Dolores to say, oh, why are you crying? Why are you crying? It's just, that was a bit too much. But regardless, Jackie, she gets up, everybody gets up, and they all go back into the kitchen to eat. Margaret's talking to her and Jennifer's trying to plead her case and she's just like, what you said was just too much. I can't take that. Like what you said was very hurtful, especially to my children. And then Margaret, just when I thought both of them were kind of on the same playing field, she takes a notch lower and she's like, oh, well, about your children. Well, your children are resilient. They'll be fine. They could get therapy. They'll be good. And I'm like, Margaret, like really? Like that's what we're saying? Like that is not cool. Jennifer beat you out by like 2 points just by you doing that. Like both of you were kind of on the same playing field because both of you do throw dirt at each other. But damn, you took it to a whole new low. Like to say that about her children, like that is foul. That is horrible. Like, and then you want people to feel sympathy for what she said about your mom, but yet you're saying this about her children. And then people were saying on her Instagram, on Margaret's Instagram, like they were coming at her. They were like, I can't believe you. Why would you say this about her children, et cetera, et cetera. Margaret didn't apologize. She was just like, oh no, Bill's a good husband, blah, blah, blah. She was just projecting the whole situation. And Jennifer, as of now, she's putting on her Instagram story. She put this clip of Margaret seeming like such a hypocrite. This is what makes her look bad because Margaret at the reunion, not last year's reunion, but the one before that, but Margaret has said, oh, I think that cheating rumors with Teresa or whatever, it could hurt the children and that's not cool. So what are you doing now? You're doing the same thing. So is this not hurting Jennifer's children? And you're just telling her, oh, yeah, no, the children are resilient. So what was that at the reunion? And then Margaret throws it out there and she's like, well, Jennifer, I found out that you were snooping around for information for Jackie's husband, Evan, to see if he was actually cheating on her. So what is that about? And then Jennifer, she confessed to it. She didn't hide from it. She was like, well, yes, I was talking to this one girl and I just so happened to ask, like, oh, wait, do you know anything about the situation with Evan and Jackie to Frank? And she was just like, that's all. I was just asking him and I asked this other girl named Serena and that's it. I didn't do anything, but I do admit to it. And then Jackie, you see her in the kitchen and she was holding that plate of food like this. She was like, oh no, not again with these cheating rumors. I thought my husband was a good man. So she rushes over there. Jackie, as soon as you bring up Evan, it's kind of like the Batman signal goes up in the air. Like she's like, okay, time to go protect Evan and my marriage. Let me go. So she rushes over there. She's like, wait, what was it about Evan? Can we repeat that? And then Jennifer, again, this is what makes this whole thing just polarizing because I want to feel bad for somebody, but it's kind of like I really truly don't feel bad for either one, like Margaret or Jennifer, because Jennifer, you were snooping around to find out some dirt on Evan, Jackie's husband, regardless whether you were just talking to one person or Frank or Serena or whatever, you still tried it. Even if you call it, oh, I was just being nosy, please tell me more. Like, even though you say that is still no excuse. But then you want people to feel sympathy for you and feel sympathy for, oh, we shouldn't talk about her marriage or her husband's affair, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just like, oh, Jennifer, you can't have it both ways. So Jackie, she's like, wait, what? You were doing this? I can't believe you. So she feels hurt by it because Jackie genuinely thought like, okay, we thought we had a clean slate or whatever, but here you are trying to dig up some dirt on my husband. Like, what? And then she threw it in Jennifer's face. She was like, my husband didn't do anything, allegedly. Your husband did. And I'm just like, damn, so nobody's having any sympathy for Jennifer. And then Melissa, a little Miss Envy, she's sitting down and she was just like, Jennifer, you're a good mom and your children love you. And I'm like, Melissa, just stay out of this. Like, I would have mushed her so hard. Like, just stay over there. And Tracy, you too, stay over there and zip it because you're like one word away from saying the wrong thing and then having everybody dig up your information and how you supposedly met your husband and thrown out there in front of everybody to watch. So Tracy, if I was you, just stick over there and eat a cannoli or something or whatever and keep quiet. So that was that. Jennifer, she starts crying. Dolores, she also gets up and she's just like, what are you crying about? What are you crying about? What are you crying about? And I really do think that Dolores is just mad that Jennifer calls Frank on the phone. Like, what are you so upset about? Let the girl cry. Like, relax. Like, what is it because like you didn't like her housewarming gift or something? Like, why are you so pressed about her? But Jennifer, she's trying to like, take everybody on, but obviously she's very emotional. And again, Jennifer, you really do need to cope with this whole cheating affair situation. You really should talk to Bill about it again and kind of just really put it out there. Like, this is what you did to me. This is how you hurt me. This is how you made me feel about it. And not just kind of sweep it underneath the rug. I just don't think that's healthy at all. So everything kind of quiets down after Margaret sees Jennifer and she sees that she's not in the right headspace to talk. And she's like, you know what? what, she's irrational right now, so I'm just gonna walk away. I wanna have this conversation with her, but she's just not in the right headspace. So they all kind of just walk away. They all head back into the kitchen to talk, to try to have a good time. And then Teresa shows up last, and she kind of gets filled in by Dolores, I believe. And she tells her everything that's been going on with Jennifer, Margaret, and Jackie. And she's just looking at Jennifer. She's like, Jennifer, are you okay? Like, is everything fine? Is your nose doing good? I like your shoes. I like that pink dress. Are you fine? Jennifer is just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm fine. Just let me stand over here and cry. Do you want a piece of bread? I'm okay. And then Teresa, out of nowhere, she calls out Margaret. She's like, Margaret, how come it's okay for you to bring up rumors or to bring up stuff to Jennifer, but when I did it, I got crucified? I don't get it. What did I do? I mean, didn't we do the same thing? And I'm like, Teresa, you still don't get the point. If I was you, I would just zip it too. You, Tracy, and Melissa, zip it. Because we don't need to be reminded of that situation of you causing havoc the first episode last season over and over and over again. You're still in the wrong no matter how way you want to paint it. Even if Margaret was to do the same thing, she is also wrong for bringing that up. But the only difference is, just like Jackie said, Margaret brought it over to Jennifer. She didn't go around spreading around to everybody first. I mean, she possibly could have. It's just, it wasn't caught on camera all the way like that. But, you know, she went to Jennifer, and then she told Jackie, she's like, well, would you have wanted me to go directly to you again? And here comes Jackie. You know she's Captain Save-A Evan. Because she walked over to Teresa. She's like, no, we're not going to be talking about this. We're not going to be talking about it. Jackie is just so scared that they're actually going to find something behind the rumors of Evan cheating on her to be true. I really do think that Jackie is just so shook and scared. She just does not want anything to slip out. So she's just kind of telling everybody, no, be quiet. We're not talking about this. So Jackie's just like, you know, if it is what it is. Teresa's just never gonna learn. Margaret, she also makes a good point. She's like, well, you know, Teresa, as long as she makes herself look good, she doesn't care about the whole situation. She doesn't even care if Margaret brought that over to Jennifer. And I honestly kind of agree too. I do think that Teresa's just trying to paint herself out to be in a better lighting, just so people won't look at her like, oh, you went around doing the same thing that Margaret's doing. You went around doing the same thing that Margaret did, when both of you are the same shit. So it is what it is. And then Margaret, she's just like, you know, Jennifer, she has chastised me. She has chastised me for doing this and that and for cheating and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, wait, Margaret, wait. You're getting the things confused, because it'll be a whole different thing if Jennifer was calling you out for being a cheater and she also cheated on Bill, but she didn't. Bill was the one that cheated on her. And I think that that's what everybody's kind of forgetting in the situation. Yes, she tries to paint herself out to be this huge, you know, again, Barbie world, this Barbie dreamland. But she's the one that got cheated on, not doing the other way around. She didn't cheat on Bill and then calling you out for it. If anything, like I said, she's projecting onto you because she sees you as being unfaithful, just like her husband. But I'm not really sure what Margaret's trying to get at with that. And Jennifer has had enough. So she's like, you know what? I'm not going back and forth with Margaret. I already tried to explain my case to her over and over and over again, but she's not getting it. So you know what? I'm going to remove myself out of the group and I'm going to leave. So she decides to leave Dolores' home. And as soon as she leaves, Dolores, she goes on this whole rant and she's like, you know what? I really do think that Jennifer, she really thought that these skeletons were never going to come out of her closet, and she probably thought that everything was going to be good her entire life. But now that it isn't, she's kind of cracking. And then Melissa, you have some nerve. I mean, I get that you have bad blood with Jennifer, but you have some nerves to be saying, you know what? The people who always think that they have a perfect life, they have the biggest facades. And I'm just like, Melissa, but don't you fit that category too? Like, don't you and Joe like continue season after season after season pretend that, oh, you know, you love each other, you're so in love with each other, you're so happily together. Like, don't you do the same thing? I mean, I guess. I mean, it's just a townhouse full of hypocrites. And that was that, y'all. What did y'all think about this episode? And do y'all feel sympathy for Jennifer or Margaret, or whose side are you on? Are you on neither side? Because I personally, I'm on neither side, because both of them, they have said very foul things to each other. And Jennifer, she does kind of try to portray that she's perfect, she's this, that, and the third. I do feel sorry for her when it comes to Bill cheating on her and all of that and all the emotions that she has to go through and probably everything that she kind of held deep down inside. I do feel for her for that. But other than that, I'm just like, well, I mean, like you said, it's tit for tat. So I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, and on top of that, Margaret, you did like kind of lower yourself a little bit more with your comment about the children. I mean, who says that, man? Just very terrible. But we shall see what happens later on. And speaking of which, did y'all see that preview of next week? Dolores and Jackie are finally doing something. I'm like, wow, okay, this should be interesting to see where that goes. But again, let me know what y'all thought about this whole episode down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, y'all. Mwah.